Hello, brothers and sisters, and thank you for joining me again today. I really appreciate it, and I've just got to let you know that all my questions yesterday were all answered in full through one program, actually, Laura Kingsburg. But I'll put an answer and explaining how they were all answered. Thank you. Okay, join me in prayer. Hello, Lord. This conversation with you is to deal with free will, the impositions of free will and divine intervention. But I want to focus on free will at the moment because to get more clarity and wisdom from you in order to understand the what free will is and the difference between free will and divine intervention, as well as when do we seek divine intervention in opposed to free will. Please bless all my brothers and sisters watching this today. Thank you. Amen. So the conversation today I want to hit on is free will. Free will has been one of those things which have been argued um, throughout many religious organizations and faith seekers, where free will intervenes and where divine interception comes in. Now, as I lean more towards divine intervention in my life, I do realize that people exercise their own free will. And I do as well, on certain aspects of where I just get on with things and just enjoy circumstances, situations, and events as they are, and just get on with it and just get on with it. Really, what I tend to find is with free will is, although I lean more towards divine intervention now, which have been expressed to me today this morning. Again, I need to understand the disparity between it, and I need to understand, Lord, what you want us to do with free will. Do you just want us to be adventurous and then go and have these experiences in life and then come back to you and then relay them experiences? Or do you want us to just live these experiences without your intervention? That's a very core emphasis on what I'm struggling with free will, because I see a lot of free will being exercised, and maybe it's not in the context of what I think it is. I'm open to your interpretation of that and your wisdom to make me more informed, and I invite that. But from my understanding of free will, it's when people just go out there and just advocately do what they think is right, and they do but they just do it on all their own terms without any kind of divine intervention. And where I feel there's a problem with that is because then um, it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't really embrace your divine will. It also it doesn't embrace their own divine will if they're just going and just actively doing what they want to do, without your intervention or without your support or without your wisdom and guidance. So I struggle with that a bit. But then I understand why it would be necessary, because then if you want every person to be their own individual expression of self in this reality, um, then I can understand why you would want that to happen in order to get the most experiences out of every person that you can. So I get that too. Um, but where my faith struggles with it is where the intervention side of it, the divine intervention side of it, and the free will overlaps or is against each other. I want to understand more of that. So I'm looking for your wisdom on that. My own intervention of free will, watching other people. Obviously, I'm more leaning towards you. Watching other people, it seems quite destructive. As in, people are making decisions, but they don't seem to have the support or the wisdom or guidance of you. And I'm starting to think that you're kind of, or they're cutting themselves off from you, um, in that kind of in that reality. so to speak, because it doesn't seem to get good for them. It seems to get worse for them if they haven't got your divine intervention involved. Um, but then I could be wrong. I might be reading it wrong, and they might just be learning a different way. So I need more clarity on that. But that's why I tend to see. I tend to see people without your divine intervention not being able to, or having more issues than people with your divine intervention. There. So that's a question which I really need to ask. I also need to understand that you know, what are the demands on free will? Are we set to be judged on free will? Um, are we set to be judged by you by our own free will? Because to me that wouldn't be fair. Because although we got different scriptures which are available to try and guide us, it's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Um, so looking at it that way, it doesn't seem very fair, and it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like that would be your course of action for us if you wanted us to experience all our freedom, but then we're restricted by having our freedom because we're doing something wrong, which we might not be conscious of or aware of. So that causes me disparity and a bit of an ease, I suppose, with not knowing that. So I'm looking for your wisdom on that. Um, I tend to find that your wisdom, knowledge, and love is always there, never present, but not everyone got access to it as well. So I can recall on one instance, which you'll know what I'm talking about, of when I was trying to get somebody involved in you to try to um, so they could get a balance in their life and their relationship. Two people actually, a couple, and it didn't really seem to come. It didn't seem to be coming forefront, and it seemed to be us who kind of help with that situation. Um, but I also found your lack of intervention as well was really I was really aware of, and I still really haven't understood the reason why. But then I've seen other people who have been far more complicated, and they have got your intervention through and with me, and um, that's been confusing to me as well. It have been confusing. So but it depends on where free will reigns, because I do believe in everybody's ability to just live the life they want to live, but then it's this differentiation of where the boundaries lie, Lord. I look forward to your answers on these questions and more clarity and wisdom. Thank you. Love, Rev Dane.